Good evening and welcome to our city. We are here in the mayor's office at the Muscatine City Hall on this somewhat rainy September 17th of 19. I did that once last month too, 2018, wow. Well, we have had quite a time this past week, and I would like to just make sure and ask all of the people in our city to continue praying for all of those people that are affected by Hurricane Florence. It's going to be a long time for them to rebuild and get their lives back. They have had so much damage and devastation and lives lost, and they'll never be the same. They can put some things back together, but they're going to need our prayers going forward. It's not going to be something that's going to go away very quickly. So please join with me in keeping those people in our thoughts and prayers. Next, I would like to share with you, this past week, the Muscatine Fire Department did a memorial and paused to remember Mike Cruz. Mike was a firefighter who lost his life on September 14th of 2002 as he was fighting a fire here in Muscatine. He fell through a hole in the roof. They do a memorial every year for him, and I can't believe that it has been 16 years. In fact, our daughter, one of our daughters, was dating Mike's son, Matt. And so we knew the family, and it was a really terrible time. And I really cherish and honor our firefighters for continuing to remember him and having a moment of silence for him, and certainly prayers to his family as well. So with that, we're going to get to some better news and welcome our first guest. We have Kim Seligman here, and she's with the Muscatine Diabetes Project. Thank you, Kim, for coming.
Oh, thank you, Diana, for inviting me.
Oh, certainly. So how long have you been involved in the Muscatine Diabetes Project?
Well, the Muscatine Diabetes Project actually came into creation in April of 2016.
So it's pretty new.
Yes, the actual Muscatine Diabetes Project, yes. Now, with diabetes awareness, we have been in the community since 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, so our roots began with the Watermelon Stampede.
I remember it well.
Yeah, it became the Watermelon Stampede Against Diabetes from 2005 to 2008. Then from 2009 to 2015, we partnered with JDRF, which is a Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and did the Walk to Cure Diabetes. And then an opportunity with branding changes with JDRF, it kind of gave us an opening to be able to be more of a local entity, be able to support Muscatine County residents that live with diabetes.
Sure. And now it's a little bit different now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Muscatine Diabetes Project supports both type 1 and type 2.
We actually support individuals that live with type 1, type 2, and pre-diabetes. Because unfortunately, pre-diabetes is growing by leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Over 84 million individuals are at risk of developing, so their A1C is not quite high enough to be diagnosed for diabetes.
But certainly in the danger zone.
They are.
Okay.
And Muscatine, with its percentages, about 15,000 residents here in Muscatine are at risk of living with prediabetes, so that is quite a high number.
Well, I know just in our family, we have a type 1 granddaughter, and my husband has type 2. And there are differences, but certainly there are similarities as well.
Right.
And so you reach out and do programming to all of these individuals. What kind of programs are there that you do with them?
Well, we have a number of programs. We have, since we formed the Muscatine Diabetes Project, one of our main focus was support groups. So individuals that live with diabetes need to be supported.
Oh, sure.
And again, you talked about type 1 diabetes, type 2. There are similarities and there are differences. With type 1 diabetes, the individual is insulin dependent, so their pancreas no longer produces insulin. Type 2 diabetes, your pancreas is still producing some insulin. Depending on how well you manage type 2 diabetes, your pancreas can eventually stop producing insulin and you can become insulin dependent as well. So when you say insulin dependent, that is actually an injectable insulin that helps your body break down the food and give you the energy that you need. So.
Right. I keep waiting for them to come out with an insulin pill. I don't know why they haven't figured that out yet, but one day, hopefully.
Yes. We're hoping for a cure for
that
type 1.
That would be even better.
Yeah, and you know, we see with type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, actually 1.25 million Americans live with type 1 diabetes. Break that down, 200,000 of those, that amount is youth under the age of 20. Type 2 diabetes is 30.3 million Americans, and about 50,000 youth have type 2 diabetes. So that number is more astounding in my thinking, because kids shouldn't have type 2 diabetes.
And they really, this is a new trend, isn't it?
Because of the obesity epidemic and just lifestyles, we're seeing an increase. But we're also seeing an increase as well in type 1 in individuals that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s.
But we don't know why on that, do we?
No, they don't.
Now, autoimmune disease is what type 1 is.
That is correct.
Type 2 is not. Is that correct?
Type 2 is usually genetics. People, just how their chromosomes are made up, their DNA, they just be genetically predisposed to have type 2 diabetes. So you know, a lot of it is also activity level. It's, you know, what you're eating can be managed with type 2. But there's individuals that are very thin out there and still develop type 2 diabetes. Yes. So it's not someone that is overweight. That is always, you know, the
stereotype of it. Sure. And some of the work that I've done at the Y with the Mujeres Latinas group, I have learned that the people with Hispanic backgrounds are have some more predisposition towards diabetes.
That ethnic group, along with blacks and Asians, actually is a higher percentage with type 2 diabetes. Now, type 1 diabetes seems to be a higher percentage in individuals that are white.
Isn't that
ethnic
something?
race,
Sure.
Yeah, it's amazing with statistics and where we're at, but the bad statistic is it's continuing to grow.
Yes.
So it's not being reduced, and we look at some of the programs that we're doing with the Muscatine Diabetes Project. We saw where we could fit a need in our community to help support individuals that are in that pre-diabetes, that A1C level is at risk of developing type 2.
Before they get
So we have
full-blown,
we have implemented the Muscatine Prevent T2 diabetes program, and so that is a National Diabetes Prevention Program through the CDC. So I'm actually a certified lifestyle coach, and actually it's a year-long program. So individuals in that program, it has been proven that individuals that make a lifestyle change can reduce their risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And
so how do they access that program?
Actually, we have it at the Muscatine Y is who we're partnering with right now. And so we're actually hoping to start a class October, November. And I'm not sure if Ryan has the brochure up here on that.
He has Finding a Healthier You. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, actually this is the Prevent Type 2. And I'm not seeing it on the screen there. But it is as the Muscatine Prevent T2 diabetes program. So it is a CDC program on that.
So is that on your Facebook page, maybe?
It's actually on our website.
On your website.
mdpiowa.org.
All right. He'll look that up for us. And we'll see if we can't get that. And what is Finding a Healthier You?
Okay, the Finding Healthier You program is a wonderful collaboration that started about 2 years ago with the Y and also the dietitian from Hy-Vee Food Store, Kara Zigament, and Susan Kruger, who's a registered nurse from Trinity Muscatine Public Health. That program is a jump start. So if someone has been, you know, sedentary, they're not quite sure, they haven't exercised in a while, they may have been told by their doctor that your A1C is in that pre-diabetes range, that you need to be doing something. And so it's an introduction to just getting back into becoming active again. So it's a wonderful collaboration. I encourage anyone out there that is looking at getting active again, getting, you know, wanting to exercise, wanting a lifestyle change. This is a wonderful 4-week program. It only costs $25. You get a month free membership at the Y. And actually, our next session is going to be starting September 25th and running through October 16th.
And so this is not going to be like a real strict boot camp type thing. This is going to be just the beginning for those people who have been more sedentary and they're looking to make a change.
And Mel actually works with them and gives them a tour of the facility at the Y, goes through the program. They go through a BMI type of measurement so they kind of know where they're at. Just introduces them to a lot of what the Y has to offer. Kara Zigamet will walk through information about reading food labels, nutrition, looking at the size distortion. So a lot of us think, we know the portion size that we should be eating, but really we're probably eating a larger portion than we should be. So we walk through that. Susan Kruger goes through some of the statistics with diabetes, also looking at other diseases that individuals may live with diabetes, high blood pressure, you've got cholesterol, that type of information.
Sure. I know those labels can be very confusing, and especially the serving size.
Yes.
You think, if you get a little individual pack, you just assume that it's for that whole. Sometimes it'll be 3 servings in that one little bitty pack, and so they can be tricky that way.
And that is one thing that with the nutrition label on packaging, it's my understanding that by 2020, all of the nutrition labels will be updated on food packages. So it's actually going to show what a serving is, because you say it is misleading. You think, gosh, I can eat this. But if you read the tiny fine print, it's more than 1 serving.
Yes.
And a lot of people are being misguided or misinformed by that and thinking they can eat the whole package, but you're adding extra calories and extra carbs as well.
And some of them even make it so difficult, like it's, 3 kilograms and a half, and it's like, now come on, no one's gonna just say how many cups or half a cup. Let's be real here.
And that's when a lot of people keep it simple on that.
Sure. And the other thing that we have learned too is that if you buy like a box of something with a bunch of individual packs in it, you have to be careful and not throw that box away, because sometimes they don't label each pack.
That is correct,
They only label the box. So some do, some don't. So we've dug in the trash many, many times.
Digging out that packaging, yes.
So Ryan, have you found anything about the T2 program on the website? So we can finish talking about that, because I think that's some new information. Is this the website?
Yes, that is our Muscatine Diabetes
so Together
Walk.
We Can, Muscatine Diabetes Project. Oh, and there's Kara Zigament's area, even though I don't see her in there. Type 2 diabetes in youth, what can you do? Scroll on down. Muscatine Diabetes Project, National Diabetes Prevention. We're probably getting there, aren't we?
We're getting close, yes.
Keep on going down, it looks like. Oh, that's the bottom. Does he need to go somewhere else?
No, that is totally fine. We can stay on that graphic right there.
All right.
So what that program does is it is a year-long program.
Okay.
The first 6 months, there's going to be 22 sessions that individuals need to attend. You have a $25 registration fee, and then each session is $5.
Oh, that's not
so
bad at all.
we receive funding from the Muscatine Health Support Foundation to train our lifestyle coaches, and so it's giving back to the community, giving back to the support that we have had, and we wanted to keep it reasonable, but we also wanted to give someone an accountability, and sometimes
some buy-in to the program. Sure.
And so the first, like I say, the first 6 months, we have 22 sessions, and then the second phase, which is the second 6 months, there you go bi-monthly. And so, or excuse me, bi-weekly every month, and so that'll be 11 group sessions there. So if anyone is interested in that, my information's out there and also on our Facebook page as well.
Okay,
so be glad to talk to anyone. We do have a registration form. We do have an assessment form. Because again, when you're wanting to make a lifestyle change, you've got to be ready. So if you're doing it for someone else, you probably are not going to be successful. You've got to be able to do it for yourself.
And that's the same way with anything.
Yes.
It really is. You've got to make that decision for yourself. Yes. Yeah. And so we just did the Muscatine Diabetes Walk.
That is correct.
That was a huge success this year from what I saw.
Well, thank you.
were there more than ever? I mean, do you keep track of how many people?
You know, it's kind of a guesstimate. We do have our security at the front gate that we have the clicker there, and he tries to keep track. But you know, when you look at Discovery Park, the different areas of coming in.
Oh, sure.
So this year definitely was higher with Unity Point Health, and their walk team was one of the largest walk teams we've ever had.
Huge, wasn't it?
Yeah, they I believe over 100 individuals from Unity Point Health, the hospital and the clinics attended, which was just amazing, along with all of our other walk teams. And so we had probably close to 500.
Wow.
Yeah, which was amazing.
Huge
and again,
community
another
support.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't ask for more. And I just loved it. Muscatine Power and Water was up there in that bucket taking pictures, and just seeing all the kids, you know, having so much support. It really was amazing. And then some of the things that you do for type 1 then, there's not like an actual support group for them, for the children.
Not actually for the children.
Okay.
Now, we do try to do the quarterly events to get families together.
Fun.
We have tried to get support group for the children, and it just seems like the family event is more well received.
Sure.
And you look at with doing the family event, you know, with type 1 diabetes, it doesn't go away. So individuals that are diagnosed as a youth, they become adults.
Yes.
And so adults are type 1. And so when you look at putting all the families together, it's more of a uniqueness that they can come together and know that they all live with type 1 diabetes. So now our type 1 adults are invited to come to our adult support group. We actually, that meets the second Tuesday of the month out at Hy-Vee Food Store Club Room. And so we're going on 2 years now with that support group, and we have a mix with type 1, type 2, and pre-diabetes that come to that group as well. So we have a number of speakers that come, but that is on the adults, so that we don't encourage youth to come to that. So.
Well, I know, just being a family member, the family events have been so fulfilling, just to see that there's other, you feel so alone when you get a diagnosis and you don't know what to do, and so isolated, and to know that there's other families living and thriving in our community, and to be able to reach out to them, or then call them and say, this is happening, what did you do, or have you ever had this, you know. That networking is so vital. Well, you know, what I do at the Y is support groups for parents. And so I'm a real big believer in support groups, and how we can strengthen each other. And learn
that's what it
from
is,
each other and support each other.
It's living with a disease, because a lot of individuals, you know, you look at sometimes the misconception of someone that is an adult that says they have diabetes. Someone may, you know, misjudge them and think that, oh, it's a type 2 diabetes, not knowing they could have been diagnosed as youth with type 1. They could be insulin dependent. They could be an adult being diagnosed with type 1. So we always talk about individuals living with diabetes. We try not to call individuals diabetics. To me, I think that's labels them. It's individuals living with diabetes and managing diabetes, because those individuals are individuals. The diabetes does not define them.
I remember back when we made that change with disabled people, we started referring to them as persons with disabilities, because they're a person first.
Yes, they are a person.
That other stuff comes after, and is not the most important part of them. It's just a piece.
That is true. That is very true.
Well, I just can't thank you enough, Kim. You have been there to be supportive for our family, and I know all of the families of the people that we meet, and the more people we meet, the more we see that diabetes is a disease that touches the lives of most everyone in one way or another.
Somebody knows someone. It's kind of like cancer. It's you know, it's one of those diseases. And when you talk about 30.3 million Americans living with diabetes, you talk about 84 million Americans at risk of developing diabetes. It's a disease that needs attention. And just to be able to get rid of those myths. You know, people didn't cause their diabetes, you know, and a lot of it sometimes there is the lifestyle things that people can improve upon. But a lot of it is, you know, either DNA or, you know, the autoimmune disease when your pancreas decides to stop working.
That's right.
So, and as we're talking about diabetes and you being the mayor, I know that Hallie was diagnosed in November, but November is actually Diabetes Awareness Month. And so we would like to ask you as mayor if we could do a proclamation for the city of Muscatine to bring awareness to diabetes in November and to just get those statistics out to people of who it affects. You know, the Iowans, it's Muscatine people, and we would love if you would be able to do a proclamation for us.
It would be my pleasure. I would be very honored to be able to do that. And I think it's a time that we can no longer hide our heads in the sand and say it doesn't affect me or this is not my problem, because really it is all of our problem.
Yes.
And the more attention that we give, the more resources that we can put towards it, and the more support we can give those who are living with it.
That is true.
The better it is for our entire community. So it would be my pleasure to do that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Certainly.
I will get the information to you. And
that would be perfect.
I would love to come back in November and share some of the activities that we're going to be happening here in Muscatine. So
we'd love it, and I'd love you to come to council, and I will read the proclamation at council meeting.
Sounds like a date.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Any
Diana.
final things that I need to say before we move on?
I think we hit it all.
All
I'm
right.
just encouraging people, the healthier you, if they're interested in that, contact the Y.
Sure.
That starts next week, September
All right.
25th, $25.
And so your Facebook page is Muscatine Diabetes Project.
Correct. And our website is mdpiowa.org.
Okay.
Okay.
And as someone who has sent a private message through that, I can tell you it gets answered quickly. So if you have a question, get a hold of Kim.
Well, thank you, Diana.
Thank you again. Well, as we get ready to segue into our new guest, I just had a couple things that I wanted to share with you. And the first thing is, I think we have a graphic coming up here about Mississippi Drive Corridor Project. So Mississippi Drive was scheduled for a ribbon cutting that was going to happen Thursday at 4 o'clock at the end of Cedar, the intersection of Cedar and Mississippi Drive. That has been canceled, or postponed rather, I will say. We've had some weather delays. There's still some punch items that they're trying to get worked out. And so we'll keep you posted with a new date. But we wanted to go ahead and wait until we were closer to actually opening up Mississippi Drive, because we want that to all happen at the same time. Next, I wanted to share with you River City Throwdown. That is something that's going to be coming up here really soon. It is going to be happening. I just saw the date on there, and now I can't find it, wouldn't you know? But anyway, River City Throwdown 2018 is going to be happening on the riverfront in the red brick building, everybody calls it, but really it's called Pearl City Station. They're going to have 2 stages for 12 hours, and it's all the proceeds are going to be going to help the Muscatine Domestic Violence Shelter of MCSA. And if you scroll on down here and see all of these bands, they're phenomenal bands that people come from all over to hear. And so it's going to be just a great time. You can come and go. You're going to get a wristband. It's $10 for everyone. Ages 10 and under are free. So if you can't devote the whole 12 hours, which many of us probably wouldn't be able to do, you get a wristband. You can come and go. You know, if you have to leave and go take care of something and come back, it'll be a fun day, and all the proceeds are going to the Domestic Violence Shelter. No alcohol is allowed at this event. Going to be a good family event, and there will be food for sale for sure. So far they have the Burrito Factory and Godzilla, and I know there's Grillzilla. Godzilla was just a question on the pyramid last night I was watching. Grillzilla is going to be there, and they're still working on some other stuff, so make sure you get on down to the River City Throwdown. And next I wanted to tell you about the 2nd annual Police versus Fire Battle of the Badges softball game. Now they go all out for this. This is a big deal. They have it down at Musser Park. All of the community is welcome to come out and join. It's September 30th. Join in the fun. There's going to be kids activities, softball. The game starts at 4. Bake sale, kid games, photo booth, all kinds of stuff. You know, it's just a really good time, and they make sure that they do all kinds of stuff for the community. It's a really good event, and all the proceeds from this go to the Muscatine Humane Society. So get on down there and support that if you possibly can. Next, we have our next guest, who is Michelle Burns. She is a naturalist with Muscatine County Conservation, and in full disclosure, she's also my stepdaughter. But in our family, we don't have steps or halves. We're just all family, and we just love each other. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
So you've been at Muscatine County Conservation now for what?
11
years. 11 years.
11 years in December.
Wow. And before that, you were at Lee County Conservation for a while, a couple years.
3 years.
3 years. Oh my goodness. You're dating, both of us.
I know. We've been around the block a few times,
That's
haven't we?
Right. That is right. Well, you know, I don't think anybody can live in Muscatine and not know the good programs that you guys put on.
I hope not, but there still are people that are surprised at the Discovery Center every time they come in, even though it's been, 13 years.
Oh.
We celebrated in April. So.
Beautiful facility. And it just keeps getting better.
Yes.
You know, I just love the wild animals that you have taxidermied in there. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better, and the kids like to go and look at the live animals and the snakes and the fish, and I like the new stuff that you can walk through and then push a button and listen and hear. What do you guys call that?
Interactive.
Yes. Really nice.
Hands-on, and you know, I mean, that's really going in schools. It's more screen iPads and computers and things like that. So one of the newest exhibit upgrades that we did a few years back was integrating some of those more hands-on screen type things so that kids could learn what the sounds of certain animals that live in their backyard or frogs sounded like, because we hear those all the time, even in our backyard in the city, and
we're like, what is that?
I don't know, is that a tree frog or a toad, or you know, but we have all of those around here. So
cicadas.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
The dog days of summer are really going out there, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and they can get loud. Well, I know one thing that I get every month in my email is your county conservation news.
Yes.
And I love this. I make copies, I share it with everybody at the Y, with everybody in the family, because there's so much in there. It talks about all of the different nature programs that you have coming up, pollywogs and tadpoles and all of that. But then it also has like coloring pictures in there.
We do a kids page. Every
I
single
love that.
section of the newsletter always has a kids page, crosswords or you know, jigsaw puzzles or something like that, and so it's something for the kids to learn about as well in a kid-friendly way, whether you're coloring or you're doing the crosswords, or we always put information in there. Every newsletter has a new animal, so it's a local animal that you could find here in Iowa, and you learn more about it. That's called our creature feature. And then we all have our upcoming programs. And we try to do a public program every month. Most of our public programs are free. And they're for all ages, the whole family. So it's something that you can come to in the summer in the blazing heat, get out of the heat, get in the air conditioning, or something to get yourself out in the wintertime as well. So we do have a lot of really fun stuff going on.
Well, and if somebody isn't getting this, how can they get? Do they go on like your website and sign up?
Yep, you can send an email to our website and get on our newsletter list, or stop in the Nature Center. We have a sheet you can put your email down. You know, we're trying to go more the way of email, but we do send out paper copies as well. But it just seems like it's so much easier for people to get it on email, because then you have the calendar and you have all of that information right there.
And you can spend more money on programming then, rather than postage.
Right. Yes. Printing.
And hunter education, I was just hearing that that's going to be coming up.
We just finished our last one for the year.
Just finished it.
Yes, we do 3 a year.
And
anybody age 11 and up can take it. But if you're in Iowa under the age of 16, you don't technically need hunter ed unless you're hunting alone. So until you're 16.
Once you're 16, you have to have it.
Once you're 16, you have to have it. Yeah.
Okay.
But say you have somebody that's getting interested, you know, and they're 11 or 12, or they don't have to take hunter ed. I mean, it's good for them too, but it's always better if they're a little bit older, because then it's easier for them to understand some of the concepts.
Well, I think Timothy and your dad are talking about duck hunting again this year, so he's going to have to do some scrambling because he's 16 now.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So he might be able to do a class up in maybe Cedar County
There you go.
or Davenport.
Sure. And you've helped them out before too, haven't you?
I usually help mostly in Muscatine.
Okay. Or
Yep.
West Liberty, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
That's still
Muscatine
County. Sure. Yep.
They don't do any up there anymore. The classes just got smaller and smaller
Sure.
and smaller, and so we've kind of condensed things and moved it all into Muscatine. And now we do it in a 1-day, 9 to 5, instead of 3 days,
Oh,
which
yeah.
works out very well for all of the
I'm
students
sure.
who have
Sure.
band and soccer
yeah.
and
There's always
everything.
something.
Yep, there was always somebody that couldn't make one day or this day, and so
yeah.
it's easier for Dave and I to do also instead of
Oh, sure.
3 days. It's just hammer it out in 1 day
And be done with it.
get our volunteers that come in to help in 1 day, and
That's right.
it's a lot easier.
Yep. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Halloween hike.
Yes,
That's coming next month.
it's less than a month away already.
Oh,
October
my
13th.
goodness. Yes.
So we were going to have it out at Salisbury. If you remember, 3 years back we had it at
Yes,
Salisbury,
yes.
but we had a very horrible flood this fall.
Oh, we sure
early.
did.
Well, you guys were out
They
there for
booted
that.
us out of camping.
Yes. Labor Day weekend, you got it shortened. a
Pack
little bit.
up and leave. It's going to flood.
Yep.
Yep.
Better than floating away.
Yes, it is. So did it get really bad?
It was, yeah. I was in the shower building, in the
My
restroom.
goodness, all the way up in the shower building?
Yep, in the shelter. So there's lots of drying out to happen and lots of pressure washing. And
Oh,
so,
sanitize all that with pressure.
yeah, the maintenance staff will be working on getting that stuff cleaned up and not so much worried about getting a trail ready for Dave and I to do
Probably.
our education program. So,
Probably.
but Discovery is a really nice place
Oh, it
for
is.
it. The only complaint that I have at Discovery is it is so loud with the traffic. If you've ever been
True.
on the hike, it's at night.
Yes.
The leaves are starting to fall by that time, so you get trucks barreling down the highway, and
And you don't
sometimes-
really think how close the bypass is,
yeah,
but it is.
It is, and so we always have to, let our actors know that, and actresses, you really got to speak up and scream your lines so everybody can hear you. But it's non-scary, which a lot of parents and families are looking for Halloween activities that aren't going to haunted houses or going out onto the haunted hayrack rides and things that are scary,
Sure.
And this is something that we do every single year. We choose different animals or plants, and they're native, so they're animals that you could find in your backyard. And this year's topic is actually backyard visitors. There's a local celebrity right there.
Oh, there you go, Betty Collins.
And her son. Yep.
Yes.
She helps out every year. I just talked to her today, and she's on the agenda.
What was she here?
She was, this was our Animal Olympics.
Oh.
So her son was a beetle, a strong beetle of some sort. I don't remember which kind of beetle that was. And she was the weightlifter.
Oh, okay.
So really, pound for pound, who could lift more? And it was the
beetle.
compared to the weightlifter. So, and then we had our animal sprinters and some of the other animals and the cheetahs and some things like that.
Well, I was trying to think. I think I've been an owl and an eagle
So this
and
year,
an inchworm. What was I last? Yeah, I can't remember.
I
what
don't even
was-
remember
well,
either. This year we'll have a woodchuck.
Oh,
Okay, so it's backyard visitors. So
Uh-huh.
there's me and
yes.
Charlie. Yeah. That's a mosquito and a tick. That was actually out at
Yes.
Salisbury.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
that mosquito and tick one was good.
Yes. I don't normally get to act because there has to be somebody that's kind of running around and in charge of things, But when we do it, we've done it probably 3 times together over the last 11 years, and that's Dave's daughter. And there is Betty Collins, again,
Yes.
the pileated woodpecker.
Yep.
But there's Dave
There's Dave
and his friendly
Yep.
salamander. But so it's non-scary, it's educational. We're learning
Oh, yeah.
most of the time about native. There's his wife, Amy.
Yeah. Oh, there's
and
me.
Hey, look, there's you guys.
Hey, what? Oh,
The
yeah.
owl and the eagle.
Yep. I was an owl.
That was out at Salisbury.
Yep.
So it's so fun, and we write the scripts, and then we find volunteers to play
It's
the
a
parts.
ton of fun.
And so anybody that's ever wanted to be a movie star, now
There
there's
you
your
go.
chance, because cell phones, everybody records it. Trust me.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can probably find it on somebody's
I'm
Facebook
sure.
somewhere.
I'm sure.
But it's so fun.
It is so fun.
Tickets are $5 for 5 and up. And then we also have popcorn and goodie bags and little mini pumpkins.
Yeah, we always go in and color pumpkins after.
YPN helps us out with that.
Yes.
We have tons of different local support.
And you carve pumpkins to light the path, which is beautiful.
Yes.
So do you need help carving pumpkins this year?
We do need help carving pumpkins. I'm in
Okay.
contact with Muscatine High School. There's some of our pumpkins.
And they are all over. I mean, there's
They're the whole-
hundreds.
Yes. We try to get around 150, but it is a project to get that many carved.
Yes, I've been involved in carving day, and
Oh, there's the back of our truck full of pumpkins. That's what we do. The week of, we go and we get pumpkins.
Yep.
So, yep, it's so fun.
It's such a wonderful community event.
It is.
Really is. So much fun. I look forward to it as much as the kids do.
Yep, and we have a lot of people that have been coming. This is 30-some years that have been coming. They brought their kids. Now they're bringing their grandkids.
Yep.
Some are not even bringing kids anymore. They're just coming for
I
fun
would.
on their own. I know, I would too. But it's
We're
such
nerds.
Yeah, we're nature nerds.
There you go. That's better.
Yes.
Yep.
So I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm wearing a monarch costume.
Oh, yeah.
Because September is kind of Monarch Month around here in Muscatine, and you
okay.
signed the proclamation.
Yes.
Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
And I brought some things to share because
Well,
you
do.
know
Please
I'm
do.
at the Nature Center
You
and we
are.
have naturey things.
Yes, you do.
And so actually,
What'd you bring us?
I brought a butterfly here, and this is a
Oh.
butterfly that's tagged.
Yes.
And it
Where's
was
the tag?
right here on the side.
Oh, there, I see it. It's over here on this side by me.
It's about the size of your fingernail,
Uh-huh.
and that's what's going to identify that butterfly when it gets to Mexico.
Okay.
And anyways, they don't know
Hand
exactly.
it here and I'll hold it up here. I see.
There's-
Do you see the tag? See that white
Yeah, we got to
circle?
get that number because that's the one we're going to let go. So,
Can you see that, Ryan? All right. So here you go, Michelle. So tell us a little bit about the monarchs. They migrate all the way to Mexico.
they go all the way to Mexico, and it's a miraculous journey. Some of the monarchs that I've tagged at the Nature Center, they have been, it's been 1,919 miles by the Google map, of course.
Wow.
Now, butterflies don't fly by the Google maps.
True.
But still, almost 2,000 miles. And the ones that are coming from Canada are 3,000 miles, all the way down to several different sanctuaries in Mexico.
And that's where they hang out all winter.
They hang out there all winter. And one of the things that we've been doing at the Nature Center for the last, well, as long as I've been there, my monarchs came with me, I guess, my passion for monarchs. We've been raising them inside, and we do lots of different education programs. September is kind of a program month where the monarchs that are hatching out in the Nature Center, they go into the classroom with me, we tag them, let them go with the kids, and it is just an absolute fantastic thing to do to see kids holding this butterfly in their hand and letting it go, because it gives them an appreciation for nature, you know,
sure.
that they might not necessarily ever find. And if they are, you know, kids that maybe don't necessarily get outside as much as some other kids. Some kids grow up on farms and, you know, go hunting
And they know all
fishing.
about it, sure.
They do, but then there are other kids that are in the city, and I think Muscatine has a lot of opportunities for nature programs and parks, city and county parks.
Yes.
And so I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of kids, but this is a good way for us to bring something into the classroom that gets kids a little bit more excited.
Oh, I love it.
It's easy to study science by reading a book.
Yes.
It's very easy, but this makes it personal.
That's right.
It makes it personal.
Yes.
So oftentimes we'll take caterpillars in, so we're raising these monarch caterpillars, and I've got a small one right there, and I
Okay.
don't know if you want to hold this.
I guess.
This one is probably a couple of days away from going up into its chrysalis, so with our, oh, and he's going to poop right there.
Oh yeah, you can keep him.
Yep. One of the things that I always talk about with our programs with monarchs, you know, we can study migration, we can study life cycles, we can study habitats, we can study all kinds of things by using these live animals.
Wow.
And at the Nature Center, we have some beetles that we use for metamorphosis programs that are really cool. They're called darkling beetles. And then we also have our live animals. We have snakes and turtles and frogs and a salamander. And we have fish at our Nature Center. We have owls and a hawk that we can bring into classrooms. And it's just an amazing opportunity for kids to get a little bit more personally involved with an animal.
Sure. It means more than if you just read about it.
It does.
It does.
So these guys are my favorite. I
so
love them.
that one is going to go into.
He will go, or she will go into chrysalis, and then go in. So probably, I would say probably the first part of October. This one will be.
And then it'll turn into a cocoon.
Chrysalis.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what that means.
Yep.
The cocoon.
Pupa.
Yes. Yes.
Cocoon for moths, chrysalis for butterflies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it'll hatch when into a monarch.
Probably, what is it, the 18th today? Yeah, probably, I would say by the 1st of October, this guy or girl will be taken off for Mexico. So we'll put a tag on it. And
Really?
off it will go.
So it'll go this year.
Yes.
Oh,
And
wow.
October's getting late.
Yes.
It really is.
I heard they are already gone, a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a really cool website called Journey North, and on that website you can find the roosts. And I've heard tons of information, tons of people, even in our city here, people in the state of Iowa that we connect with, naturalists and so forth, that the population of monarchs has been pretty good this year. Historically, 80 to 92% of the monarch population has been lost in the last couple of decades.
We're learning. We're doing better.
We're doing better. We're educating people.
We still got far to go, but we're doing better.
And we have, you know what I love to see? People leaving their milkweed grow in their yard, because that's the only thing these caterpillars will eat. Milkweed.
Yep.
We got to get some for your yard. Get you a monarch way station. I'll work on that.
We've had some monarchs, but we don't have any milkweed. But I have the other stuff you've planted there.
Yeah, I need to get more on that. I'm going to get some more stuff growing out there. I'll plant it out there.
All right.
Yeah. So they're really cool. And these are, you know, a lot of times kids don't want to touch bugs. This is still an insect. So we can learn about bugs even this way, but this is not like a cockroach.
No,
You know?
heavens no.
So it's a little bit more easy for somebody, a little kid that's maybe never picked up a bug, to pick this up and touch it. And
Oh,
it's
sure.
so soft. It's actually, and it's leaving these silk threads all everywhere it goes, and that's so that if it falls, then it has something to hang on to.
Neat.
Isn't that neat?
Yes, it is.
So they're really, really, and then he's pooped on your desk.
Oh, nice.
They're just like babies, you know? They eat and they go to the bathroom.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's going to go into chrysalis and then evolve from there and then be this butterfly and then leave already and fly all the way to Mexico as an infant.
The whole thing, I've seen it for the last 15 years. I've been raising monarchs in the nature centers that I work at, and at home even with my own kids the last few years. And it does not ever cease to amaze me, the miraculous change that every single butterfly or moth goes through. And it's so, that first one every year, it's like, wow, you know?
How could it be this now?
How can this
Yes.
even be possible? But it's just, Mother Nature is just an amazing thing. Lots of good stuff out there.
That's right. Well, do you have other program stuff you wanted to share? I know we talked about the Halloween hike.
We do. So one of the most popular programs that we have are our summer nature camps.
Oh, yes.
And they're done, of course, for this summer. But get on it in March or so, the newsletter that comes out, because they fill up completely full. Plum, we can't have any more, and we have waiting lists. So get online in March and get signed up right away. But we do offer nature camps throughout the year for the little itty bitties.
That aren't in school yet.
That aren't in school, and then
Okay.
even into school. So we have the Polywog Playtime, which Julie Harold
yes.
is a retired kindergarten teacher. She's been presenting those programs for us for as long as I've been there, actually.
Sure.
And so she does the 3 years, then all the way down to 18 months. The little tiny
Fun.
ones. Yes, they're very fun. And then our Knee-High Naturalist program is a 4 to 6 year old. So we've kind of, that preschool, kindergarten, even into first grade, if they're young first graders,
Sure.
gives them an opportunity to come, and we do nature topics every month. Second Thursday of the month and second Saturday of the month for Polywog and for Knee-High.
Okay.
And we do have those fill up too, so we've got still some openings for both of those classes. Next month is going to be apples and the harvest with Julie, and then I will talk about Halloweeny stuff.
Oh, sure.
I think it's spiders, which kids are a little bit, freaked out by spiders.
Oh, yeah.
But they're so cool.
Is that
Spiders
the
are
theme?
awesome. That's the theme. Yeah, every month is a new theme.
Okay.
Yep. So
What's the theme for Halloween hike?
backyard visitors.
Backyard visitors. Like
Yes.
what?
Like the woodchuck and the
Okay.
pileated woodpecker, the bees. There we go. The turkeys. The
Okay.
all of those things that you would find a raccoon.
Is this one we've done before?
No,
Brand new?
brand new. We have only done one, and it wasn't even
Duplicate?
a repeat. It was a greatest hits.
Okay.
But all the rest of them have been. So we brought back some of the greatest hits and made a skit out of them. But
I think I was a woodchuck once. My brother Harry and I.
oh, you were muskrats.
Muskrats.
That's right.
Okay.
You were muskrats.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. We can bring those up for you if you want to play them later.
Nah, that's good.
Actually, maybe your team could come out and take a video this year.
Oh, sure. They'd probably love it.
That'd be cool. That'd be really, really cool.
Yep, it would be.
But all of our programs, we use bio-artifacts. Now, people always say, what are bio-artifacts? Those are things like animal furs or bones or plants that have been dried, things like that. So, here's a little squirrel. We have lots of finger puppets and things like that.
Okay.
But this is a bobcat. And one of the things that we're very blessed with at Muscatine County, of course, is all of the stuffed animals that we have in our nature center. Not these kind, the real kind.
The real kind.
And we have a lot of furs of native animals. And bobcats are very secretive animals. Most of the time people don't see them, but they see the people. So you could be walking along, even out at Wildcat Den, and there could be a bobcat up in a tree or a cliff or whatever, and it totally can see you, and it's oblivious.
Oh, that's creepy.
Oh, no, these guys couldn't eat a person.
They couldn't hurt you?
No. These guys are not much bigger than, well, pound-wise, 20-pound cat.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bigger than a house cat, of course, but
Maybe Donna's fat Alvin.
and my
Yeah.
mission, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're so camouflaged,
Mm-hmm.
so using the furs is a really great way to teach kids about camouflage
Oh, sure.
and mimicry and how animals try to pretend to be other things so that they don't get eaten. And we could go on
Oh, yeah.
all night about all the really cool stuff we have. So
We've heard so much about sightings of different animals here that we didn't have before.
yeah, so Muscatine pre-settlement time before 1830, there were tons of different animals that we didn't have here. There were wolves, there were mountain lions, there were bears, black bears, elk, all of those animals, that big bison that were here before. And then as people kind of moved in, they were hunted for whatever reason, either food or fur or predator status, because they thought mountain lions, for example, would be eating their chickens.
Oh,
or,
sure,
or
sure.
their lambs or things like that.
Yeah.
So they were kind of pushed out, but now people are realizing, the benefits of nature and having those natural areas. And some of the animals, like the coyote and the bobcat, they have made a comeback. We don't have mountain lions or bears or moose or bison or some of those bigger animals, because they need a very large habitat, lots of square miles. But we are there's actually even a trapping season on bobcats, which for many years there was not.
And there is in Muscatine County?
In Muscatine County,
wow.
But people are finding them, getting trail cam pictures, and it's so cool to see. I think they make the most impact on me because it was my first real college paper I had to write. The animal I chose that was native was the bobcat, and so I read all of these scientific articles, and I thought, oh, those are really cool. And I saw one out in the wild, if you want to call it that, for the first time. Yes, last year. It was actually when I was on my way to work out on F70, right by Moscow Road. It was climbing across the road, or going across the road. Not quite that fast, but but I saw it, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Here I suspect that I would see it in a native second growth timber area where you would find it. Not crossing the street between two cornfields, but whatever. People are moving in, and animals are.
I bet you just wanted to take pictures.
I did, but it was very fast.
Yes, I bet it was.
I also saw a badger on the side of the road, which I've never seen a badger.
Oh, they're vicious.
Well, they have to be.
Yeah.
They have to be to protect themselves.
Yeah, do we have wolverines?
No.
No,
but they're like the badgers.
They're similar, aren't
yeah,
they?
I think they're more out west and north.
Okay.
Canada, and I'm not for sure.
So the animals that you have at the county conservation, those, if I understand correctly, are animals that can't be in the wild anymore because they have a wound or something that they can't take care of themselves. Is that correct?
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
Some of them, yes. Our birds of prey, our raptors, our owls, and our hawk, they all have injuries either to their eyes or their wings, so that they would not be able to find their food.
Okay.
And so those are the birds that we take into class. And they're not birds that people can pet per se, and that's what people always want to say, well, I want to pet that, but it's not. It's still a wild animal, because these are wild animals that were taken out of the wild because they were injured. They can't be released, so then
they weren't raised as a pet either.
They're not raised as a pet, no. And most of, I'm trying to think as far as like our fish, we get those out of the wild, but we try not to take anything out of the wild.
Sure.
Because what's the point of educating about something if you have to take it out of the wild too? There's our fish, our big fish.
Yep.
We have some really nice 1,200-gallon aquariums.
Wow. Oh, they're great.
They're very nice.
Well, I'm assuming that all of these animals that you have to eat. So do you take donations for that?
Yes, yeah. So we buy mice, frozen mice.
Frozen mice?
Frozen mice.
So
3
they're
times
not alive?
No. Feeding live makes your animals a little bit more aggressive. And since our snakes are handled by literally thousands of people every year, we don't want to take that chance. But it's always interesting because the FedEx guy or the UPS guy is like, oh, you guys are, when we got our mice last week, he said, you guys must be having a big barbecue. It says frozen mice, rush delivery, or frozen meat. Frozen meat, rush delivery. You guys are having a barbecue. Well, our snakes are going to eat for a while, but so
not us.
About 3 times a year, we order a giant box of mice. And they're mice that are captively bred for the aquarium or the zoo trade, because there's a lot of different creatures that eat mice.
Okay.
The raptors eat mice. The bobcats, if you got a bobcat, they eat mice. Or the snakes eat the mice. And so we go through a lot of mice. But we also have actually the director up at Cedar County Conservation Board is a trapper, and he traps muskrat. And so he takes the fur, and then we take the carcasses, and we feed those to the birds as well. So that's not a cost per se, because buying mice, they're really kind of expensive.
I could see that, and they must eat more than one.
Yeah, well, the raptors eat 3 mice every time they eat, and they eat up to 3 or 4 times a week, every other day or so.
So they don't eat every day?
No, and the snakes eat about twice a month, and they eat 1 full-grown mouse. So
twice a month.
Twice a month, yep. But we do take donations.
I was going to say, do you take donations?
For that sort of thing, but we're also primarily funded through the County Board of Supervisors. So when you're paying your taxes, or a portion of that goes to the Conservation Board. And we have over 11 county parks and over 1,700 acres to enjoy. Wildlife areas, so the real rustic wildlife areas where there's just trails. We have the areas where it's developed, like Discovery Park. Salisbury is one of our oldest parks, you know, where we have our campground.
Yes, love it.
Now we have Deep Lakes, which we acquired a few years ago, and that area down there is something special. There's a swimming beach down there that's open and free to the public. We just got a new restroom down there. It's a like a pit style restroom, but they're modern. It's not like the ones out at some of the other places. Yeah. It's nice, if you can say that about a pit style restroom.
Sure.
Cabins are going in, so we'll
Yeah,
have
the
rental
cat grant's
cabins.
paying for that, isn't
Cat
it?
grant
That was
is
great.
helping out with that.
Yes.
County Board of Supervisors are kicking in a lot of extra money towards that as well. So we've been very blessed to have them helping us out with a lot of these larger projects, because you know, I don't think people realize how much money it takes to develop areas.
Oh, man,
And people are constantly asking us, you know, when are you going to have a shelter here? Or what are you going to do at Deep Lakes? Or, you know, when are you going to get some flush toilets? Flush toilets are expensive. They're really expensive.
Getting it to there, getting the piping and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Your dad was just out there fishing the other day and loved it.
Yes, there's still a lot of big fish out there if you know how to catch them.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And we take kids down there and they can catch the fish. So people that say that it's been fished out, you're not going to the secret spots.
There you go.
Right?
You're not doing it right.
They don't tell you where the secret spots are.
Of
It's just
course
like
not.
mushroom hunting.
Mushroom hunters, same deal.
Yep, or
That's
wild
right.
asparagus.
That's right.
You don't ask a naturalist where that stuff is.
Oh no. Oh no. We go in the fall and scout all of our asparagus hunting spots.
Yummy, I love asparagus.
Oh yeah, it's very good. Well, what else can we share with the folks at home that they're going to need to know before you come back again?
We have a Facebook page. It's,
okay.
Muscatine County Conservation Board.
All right.
And we put all of our events on there. And so if you are interested in an event, you click on you're interested, then you'll get the reminders for,
Oh, that's
you have an
nice.
event coming up in so many days or whatever. So always click interested on those events, and it also shows up on your friends' timeline. So, you know, we're not helping, you know, we don't have a huge budget for marketing.
Yeah.
So we use Facebook pretty much for a lot of that. And and we have a website, muscatinecountyconservation.com. All of our events go on there, and that's also where you're finding information about camping, shelter reservations, kayak, canoe reservations, all of that sort of information. Pictures of our nature center.
There you go.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Everybody needs to come. It's free.
Yes.
7 days a week we're open.
8
to 4:30 Monday through Friday. So come pick those kids up from school. Come on in, and even on the weekends, 12 to 4.
Yeah.
Throughout the winter, when you're thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Sure.
Bring the kids to the nature center.
Oh yeah.
Love having kids out there, and they find interesting stuff to play with. It's a nature center.
Yeah. And we like to go out there when you're doing activities. You'll have the craft day, the Christmas craft day, or
Yes, we do need to pick